Next up, we have Vanilladelphia talking to us about Collab.land. How's it going?
Hey, what's up? Yep. So I'm going to talk to everybody about Collab.land today. Let me share my screen. So if you've used Collab.land before, you're probably familiar with the bot commands and how long that takes, how much of a pain it can be. So if you've been following along, you can see that we've released a new web UI. So you can get to it at cc.collab.land. I'll put all the links in the chat. So I'm just going to run everybody through kind of how to set up a role with it and how it works, some of the new features. So first thing, once you get to the page we're calling Command Center, you'll see these options here. Actually, if you don't have it in any servers yet, you'll have to add it. So you can invite the bot with this little button here, which will bring you to a list of your servers. Actually, I already added it, but you just select the server, hit continue, and then in your Discord server, you'll see that 2 channels will be created. One is the config channel, which is the channel that used to be used for creating the roles with the bot UI. Then you'll have the join channel, which is where your users or members will verify by using the button, which will link to their wallet. So we're just going to set up a role here. So to start, we'll go to this TGRs. We call them token granted roles. So basically, if you're unfamiliar with what Collab.land does, it will assign a Discord role based on the holdings of a token. So you can set up a role. If somebody holds your community token, they'll get a special role in the Discord, which you can then use to grant access to different channels or give them a special color or, whatever you want. Also, support for Telegram as well. So you can have token granted Telegram groups where people have to hold the token in order to get access to your group. So today we're going to talk about Discord. So let's set up a role. So you select a role, any role that you've created already in Discord. So we'll just select one. Brings you to this screen, which is very similar if you've used Collab.land before. You've got all the different information that you used to have to enter in the bot UI. So we have a description, which we can call whatever we want. This is just for your reference. Doesn't have anything to do with the setup. You can select your chain type. So we have lots of different blockchains supported, including mainnet, Polygon, XDAI, BSC, Arbitrum, Avalanche. I mean, you can see the list goes on. Even some non-EVM like Solana, Flow, Polkadot, Nifty Gateway, Tezos. The world is your oyster. We're adding new chains all the time. So this one we're just going to set mainnet because it's easy. And then you can select your token type. So these are the different token types we support on mainnet. So you got ERC20, 721, your NFT standards. Even support roles, social tokens, POAPs, mutable X. Oops, that's kind of soon to come. Moloch DAO shares. If you're in a DAO and you want to give access to your DAO members to a special channel, you can use Molochs. So we're going to use one of my NFTs that I have here. So it's an ERC 721. We're just going to use this one. So if you're unsure what kind of token you have, if it's an NFT and you're not sure if it's a 1155 or a 721 or what have you, you can go to OpenSea and look at your token there. And you can look at the details and it'll tell you the token standard, the token ID, contract address. So we're going to grab the token address here because we're going to need it. So we selected the token type, which is ERC 721. We just put in the address here. Token ID is actually optional for this token type, so we're not going to use it. Just a note, if you're using an ERC 1155 token, which is another popular NFT standard, you will have to include all the token IDs for the different tokens in your collection. But we're not going to use it. So one of the new things with the command center and with Collab.land now is you can grant roles based on specific metadata of a token, so traits and values. So we're going to use that. What that is again, if we go back to OpenSea, we can see under this properties tab, you have these different properties or traits and values. So the top in blue would be the trait, and then the black writing would be the value. So we're going to use this, and let's say, so we just go add metadata. Let me see, because I already forgot. Let's use intuition tier. Did I spell that right? Yep. That's one thing to make sure you do is check your spelling, and because if you spell it wrong, it's not going to work. And also, if there's any special characters or anything, just pay attention. You can also, alternatively, if you have the URI for your token, that'll show all this information in JSON format. Might be a little more advanced for some users, but if you know how to do that, that's the best way to get that information, because it's going to be accurate and you can copy and paste it. In this case, we're just going to use this, and then we're going to save it. So now it's going to check to see if I own this token with this trait and this value. And then at the end, we can add how many are needed to qualify for the role. In this case, it's just going to be 1. And you can even set a max amount, but this time we're going to leave that as 0. And we just hit save. So this will show us here just an overview. So we can see it's a mainnet ERC 721. This is the address, min and max, all the information. So then we can go back to Discord, and real quick, we can just show you, these are the roles we set up. We'll change the color of this one so we can see when I get it. Couple of things just to note from the Discord side of things. One important thing is to make sure that the Collab.land role is above any of the other roles in your Discord. If it's not, you can just drag it and put it where you want. So it needs to be above any roles that it's assigning. Otherwise, the roles won't be getting assigned. And I forgot to mention, this is another role that's created by Collab.land when it's invited, called Collab.land admin. So that's for if you have a community mod or somebody else in your Discord that is going to be managing these token roles and adding new ones or changing them or whatever, you don't have to give them an admin permission specifically or any special permissions. You can just give them this Collab.land admin role, which doesn't have any special permissions. It's just gives them access to that config channel, which will allow them to set up the token granted role. So we can see that Collab.land's at the top, and we got these roles here. So then from a member's perspective, when they join your server and go to verify, they just go to the Collab.land join channel, hit the Let's Go button. So you'll get this message here, which is like a preview of the signature that you're going to see in MetaMask. So this is like a safety feature to make sure that what you're signing in your wallet matches what you expect. So this should be exactly the same as the message that you're signing on your wallet. So we'll just connect wallet, bring into the connect page. So another cool thing that's new is this wallet delegation page. So if you've connected before with Collab.land, you won't have to connect again. You can just use a wallet that you've used already in another community. And how you do that, you just select that wallet and verify. So we'll do that. We just get this message that the wallet's been connected. Might take about 2 minutes, but then you should get a message in the channel once it's ready. And while we're waiting for that, we can check a couple of the other new features. So we can go with this bot config. So we added some other new features just to kind of make it easier for admins and community mods to, number one, make sure that everything's set correctly and they have the permissions correct and the bot is at the top and all those things. So basically you can just use this button here to check your configurations, and we can see that we don't have any errors, so everything should be good. This background balance check. So one of the things that Collab.land does is once a day, it will go through your community and it'll check if your members all still hold the required token. If they don't or no longer hold that token, then the role will be removed. So that happens once a day, or there's a event-based listener too for on-chain transactions that with your token. So we'll also check the roles during that and remove them within like 1 or 2 hours. So that's that. And then we have this community roles section too, which is really neat. So basically what this is, if you have a member in your server that has a role that they're not supposed to have, or has the token, should get a role, but for some reason it didn't get assigned, you can check their user ID here. So basically you just grab their user ID. This is my user ID. I'll show you another way to get that. Basically you just right click, copy ID. With developer mode on in Discord, that's an option, and you can use any member in your server to do this. And then we'll check. So let's see. So we can see that I should get assigned this role because I have the token, but for whatever reason, it didn't get assigned. And the reason I'm going to give is that I'm demoing this. So it's really easy. All you have to do to resolve it is hit the resolve button. And then there we go. All issues have been resolved. And we can go back to the server and see that I do, in fact, have the role now. So basically what that does is like an on-demand balance check. So if you don't want to wait for that background balance check to go through, or like I said, you have a member that should have the role that it didn't get assigned for whatever reason, or somebody that does have the role that shouldn't, you can check that manually now by yourself, which is huge. So yeah, and then I can show you real quick the bot config, what that looks like if you've got some errors. So we'll just go through and make some errors. So one of the things I'll talk about is permissions. So when you first invite Collab.land, it has administrator permission. And I know now that a lot of people are very hesitant to give administrator permission to any bots or anybody because we see, every day servers are getting exploited or hacked because somebody loses their credentials or has administrator permission. So if you're worried about that, you can disable it as long as it has certain other permissions, which I can go through real quick. So we need view channels. We need manage roles to be able to give the roles. Send messages. Don't need add reactions anymore because we don't use the bot UI. And then one other thing, in the future, not needed right now, but soon in the future, we're going to be having some / commands. So we'll probably need this application commands. So we can save those changes there. But let's say we forgot to give, one of the important things here, one of the important permissions. If we go back and we're wondering why is the bot not working, I don't know. Well, let's check the configuration. So you get a warning here that tells you, hey, there's a problem. The bot is not configured correctly. So, and then it'll tell you how to fix it. So right now you can see that it doesn't have the right permissions. It's missing manage roles and ban members. So actually ban members is one that I forgot to mention. So the reason that Collab.land needs ban members is because it'll automatically kick anybody that is trying to impersonate it. If there's a scammer that's changed their name to Collab.land and they're offering your user support, we don't appreciate that. So we'll automatically ban anybody that tries to do that. So we can go back and make sure we've fixed these issues. Turn the manage roles back on. Turn ban members back on. We'll save it. We'll check it again. And yep, we should be good to go now. So yeah, that's pretty much the new Collab.land web UI, calling it Command Center. So there's lots of support docs which will tell you how to set up different types of tokens and that kind of stuff, which I can share in the chat. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions before we talk about something else?
Yeah, I think one of the crazy parts about Collab.land is just how much stuff it does. With how many chains it works with and how many different protocols and everything. I think that this new UI is amazing. I definitely noticed that the response time when the chains got to be like 12 was slower with the reactions and for configuring the bot. So this is amazing. I think this makes it so much easier and faster. And anyone that hasn't used the Collab.land configs, they're very helpful, but you gotta wait for them to build. So this is great.
Yeah, so you can see all the different chain types, and the way that the bot used to work was it would send a message in Discord, in the Discord channel, and you would have to wait for each chain would have its own emoji that you would have to react with. But you would have to wait for all those emojis to load. And sometimes it was like you wanted to pull your hair out waiting for so long. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite features, is how much faster it can be to set up roles. And you can easily set up as many as you want. You can add multiple TGRs to a single role. So like for instance, in metagame, you've got the seed holder and patron roles, right? So I think in the past, I think they're separate now, but you could make them, one role where you would have the link to the patron token, which is from the balancer pool, and the link to the seed token, and you could have different values. Let's say you need to have 100 seed token and 10 P seed token. I don't know if it's still called P seed, but you could put them under the same role. So like we can, let's say, set up another, just real quick, just to show you how that works. So we'll use the metagame season 5 player token. It looks really cool. Again, it's an ERC 721, so we don't need a token ID. And we'll just use balance on this one. We won't add any traits. And we're having an issue here. Oh no. Let's try that one more time. Okay, seem to be having a little, oh, that's why. So another good thing to remember is to see which network your tokens, which chain your token is on. So I don't see it here, but this is probably on Polygon if I had to guess. Yeah, so we can see assets matic. So we chose the wrong. So this is another thing that we added is a lot of contract validation. So as you're entering, this is another thing that Bot UI did not have at all. So you could, if you set up a role incorrectly or on the wrong network, it wouldn't really warn you or tell you that you had done something wrong. It just wouldn't work. So now it'll actually prevent you from even saving it. So it's checking if this token exists on mainnet, and it says it doesn't, so it won't even let me save it. So we know we have to change to Polygon now. And then we'll try that again. So now we can see that we've got two tokens under the same role. So what this is it's an OR condition. So a member, in order to get this first role, they would need to hold either that first token that I set up in the beginning, or they would need to hold that metagame token. As long as they hold one of those, they will get that role. One other thing I forgot to mention is for the attributes, we actually support and or condition. So if you wanted to have multiple things, so let's say in this case, the end condition probably won't work because I'm using the same trait and different values. Something that we are looking into to be able to accept that, but at the moment, that's not going to work. So what we can do, excuse me, is use the OR condition. So that what that means is if somebody has the tier value or the happy value, one or the other, they will qualify for that role. And you can get pretty crazy with these metadata traits and values. I know you look at a lot of the popular NFT projects, and they have lots of different traits that you can break down into your community. Like if you want everybody that's wearing a hat to have the hat role, and everybody that has glasses to have the glasses role, you know, for whatever reason, you can do that. So we just save that. And yeah, so that's about it for the command center. Another thing I can talk about real quick, it's not live yet, but we have started testing it with the DAO House community. We've been working on verifiable credentials. So our first kind of use case for that is with a guest pass feature. So how that works is if you have a token granted community and you want to, let's say you want to give somebody access that you know that they don't hold the token, but you're like, you know, I want them to preview it, or I want to, you know, offer it on a limited time to see if they want it, like a try before you buy kind of thing, if it's an NFT community. Or the way that DAO House is using it is for people that are interested in becoming a core contributor, but are not actual members yet, since they use Collab.land to grant access to the core contributor section of the Discord. So we've created this this guest pass feature, which allows you to grant essentially a verifiable credential, which Collab.land will read as sort of an off-chain NFT, and it's also assigned to one or even many Discord roles. So you could say, if I want to give this person a guest pass with these 3 roles, I can do that. And it's time-based. So right now I think the options are like 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 90 days. And then after that time limit is reached, then automatically their roles will be removed. They will still hold the VC, which says that they had that guest pass for a certain period of time, but there's an expiry date, which will remove it after that date is over. So that's something we're just kind of getting started playing around with. If you have a community that you think might have a use for that, definitely reach out to me on Discord or Twitter or whatever, and we can get you added to the list for that kind of support. But yeah, that is Collab.land. That is the new web UI. Very fancy, very easy to use. Any other questions or comments?
So there was a question from the audience about including metadata for NFTs that are minted
Mm-hmm.
or for tokens. Is there any plans to add the metadata visible?
Yeah. Yeah. So you mean as far as granting the roles based on the metadata?
Yes.
Yep. So that would be under the attributes tab here. So it's supported for most NFT token types. So this is actually the metadata section here. You just hit this metadata, and in this case, modify traits, because I've already added some, or you can do add traits. And yeah, you've got your trait and value here. And as long as the metadata exists on that token, it will work. So yeah, and that works with almost all NFT standards, ERC 721, 1155, even works for Solana NFT, works for Flow NFT. I think pretty much all the NFT standards that Collab.land supports can now use metadata trait-based gating.
Awesome. Super cool. Collab.land is one of the tools that's helping not only DAOs, but pretty much the entire Web3 ecosystem. Most NFT projects have got it incorporated. I know that we've used it heavily for Moloch DAO shares, as well as for people having a token gated access as well for ERC20s. So hugely important for MetaFactory and a bunch of other communities, Friends with Benefits. Pretty much a lot of what we do has been built on the back of permissions and token gated access. So big thanks for Collab.land's progress and for continuing to push. I love the new UI. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's amazing. We're in, I think, over 30,000 communities now, which is like, I didn't even know there were 30,000 communities that were, NFT focused or DAO focused, but it's incredible. And yeah, excited about this new feature and adding more and more features all the time. So working on some new things for DAO tooling and verifiable credentials, and expect some exciting stuff coming soon.
So if someone wanted to learn more about Collab.land from the team or how to get involved, is there a place that they should go to learn more?
Yeah, so the best thing to do is probably to follow the Twitter, collab_land_. I'll post that in the chat too. And yeah, any kind of updates and that kind of thing are always posted there. So yeah, it's probably the best place. And then I'll also post the support documentation for people that are just learning or trying to set up a new role. I think we have most of the bases covered there. Walk you through step by step. So,
Does Collab.land have a Gitcoin fund? How is Gitcoin funded right now?
we do not have a Gitcoin fund, so it's funded mostly by our patron NFT. So we have an NFT which you can find on OpenSea. It's the Collab.land patron NFT. So we've got quite a few partners that have helped us by purchasing one of those. And yeah, obviously you're welcome to. We also have a membership NFT, which is a lot less expensive, but if you still want to help out and grab one of those, you're welcome to. I think they're all sold out, but they're available on secondary now. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank
It.
you so much, Vanilladelphia.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Bogey, you have a question? You're muted.
Hey, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Tenpenny's got a question in main stage chat. He's like,
Mhm.
he asked, can you have the and for both these tokens instead of or either these tokens for the roles?
So no, not
Okay.
yet, but it is something that we've been working on. Um, the problem is from like a design perspective, it's hard to make it because that opens up a whole new level of complexity.
Yeah.
Um, and we're trying to figure out from a design perspective how to enable that without making it too confusing for the more basic users. But I'll just leave it as not yet, but hopefully soon.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions before I hop off?
um, Someone's typing.
There's one more question about extending the functionality beyond Discord.
Mhm.
So, are there any other kind of platforms you guys are looking to integrate with for permission-based access?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. So already on Telegram right now. So that's kind of the OG. That was like the first integration. Still working, and yeah, we're always exploring like new ways to connect. We're talking about maybe having an SDK where people can create their own token gated websites, or we've talked about token gated GitHub and Reddit and things like that. So they're all kind of in the pipeline. No status on any of those, but a little alpha for everybody. That these are the things that we're thinking about. When it comes to token gating. But I think the main end goal and the thing I'm really excited for is eventually getting to the point where we can have that SDK and have developers token gate their own things, and whatever you want to token gate, you'll be able to do that using the Collab.land backend. So
Awesome, super cool. I'll definitely keep my eyes peeled, and I know I use it in a lot of different communities. Like I can't even count how many of them. So I'm excited for the updates, and I'm sure everyone else will be too. Thank you.
awesome. Well,